Good afternoon. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Venezuela declares emergency after loud explosions rock capital Caracas. Explosions took place near major military base on Saturday morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates international exposition of sacred Piprava relics related to Lord Buddha in Delhi. Says Lord Buddha belongs to everyone and unites us all. Big blow to left-wing extremism. 14 Maoists neutralized by security forces in two separate encounters in India's central state of Chhattisgarh. And Ukraine to host talks with security allies in Kyiv today. Around 15 countries, along with representatives from the EU, NATO and the US delegation to join the talks. News just coming in, we are tracking at this hour. Multiple explosions have rocked Venezuela's capital, Caracas, early on Saturday, and columns of black smoke and aircraft could be seen, according to witnesses. This is news that's breaking at the moment. According to witnesses, a power outage affected the southern area of the city near a major military base in Caracas. Attacks also took place in the states of Miranda, Aragua, and La Guaira, a government statement has informed, prompting President Nicolas Maduro to declare a national emergency and mobilize defense forces. Venezuela says it rejected military aggression.
There is no conclusive proof, but we can now, connect the dots, and this is what it appears, that US has apparently now finally taken, large-scale military action against Venezuela. Now, whether this is going to be limited to this action or the escalation will take place, that remains to be seen. But you are right, a national emergency has been ordered by President Maduro. However, the US is yet to comment on any of these strikes. We are expecting that if it is indeed true and the US has struck Venezuela, then they will be coming out with an official statement. However, again, question obviously will be raised about the legality of these strikes, because you cannot just bomb another country on accusations that you cannot even prove in front of the world. Yesterday Donald Trump had already also said that he's going to the US remains locked and loaded to attack Iran. So a lot of these problematic statements and actions coming in from the US administration as far as action against countries, especially of these global South countries, are concerned. So we are yet to know the impact, but the clear allegations that Venezuelans are raising is that the US is trying to steal the natural resources, which has been a long-standing accusation by the Venezuelan government as well as people in Venezuela, activists there. Because just last point I want to add here, Shubhendu. Venezuela has more proven oil reserves than any other country in the world. If the US secures that, then all of their dependence on Middle East is over, essentially. Venezuela will be open for the US markets for a very long-term energy dependence deal if a favorable government comes to Venezuela. So it's very much plausible that US would be rooting for either a regime change or removal of Maduro from the head, which is quite anti and calls these kind of action US imperialism in the region.
Right, Akshay, as official information comes in on who led the attacks in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, let's stay with the facts. For the viewers, it'll be interesting to also learn about why President Trump's administration in the US has been targeting Venezuela, and particularly the Maduro administration in the past several weeks. first targeting the boats which have been allegedly carrying narcotics, and there have been speculations of a possible land operation by the United States, and then this incident happens. The official confirmations are yet to come in, but if you could fill us in with why these developments, these tensions have been brewing in the region.
Well, firstly, this is obviously the point that US has been trying to highlight, that drug cartel is operating in Venezuela. Venezuelan government is supporting that cartel. That cartel is flooding the US borders with illegal drugs, with narcotics, and all of these are taking through shipping lanes. Boats are bringing in all of these drugs. So that is obviously one key concern that US has been pointing out. But if we go back in history, a couple of years back, repeated US administrations have tried to bring in a political change inside Venezuela. Venezuela was once quite a rich country that used a socialism political pattern in their country. There was a lot of oil. Venezuela was quite rich, but then suddenly there was an economic turmoil that began, and Venezuela's economy started tumbling down. A lot of debt started mounting up. And there were accusations that it had everything to do with US involvement, because the government and the regime that has been there in Venezuela for a very long time has not been very favorable to the US. The US, there are several countries that have a drug problem. There is Afghanistan, where US had its own soldiers deployed during the occupation. It had one of the largest drug problem. If you talk about terrorism, Pakistan is one of the biggest example of terrorism, that exports terrorism, that exports narcotics around the world. But actions are not being taken on these countries because, according to many of the accusations from the Venezuela, is that because they don't have oil. And Venezuela is the country that has there have been attempts by the US to, bring some regime change and sort of have a favorable deal with Venezuela before their own shale gas was discovered in large volumes, and it was majorly dependent on the Middle East as far as oil dependence is concerned as well. If you go back in the history, there has been a tussle, with Cuba. Venezuela has also been in tussle with the US administrations, different administrations, and now after the second term of Donald Trump, we are hearing repeatedly again and again the drug cartel and other problems being the reason why US wants a regime change in Venezuela. However, many of the countries in Latin America, like Colombia, like other countries in South America, also have this problem of drug cartelization. Mexico has this problem, but no such similar action are being taken against their leaders. But Venezuela is being singled out.
Akshay, that's interesting because from neighboring Colombia, more updates are coming in. Colombian president, in fact, Colombia in the neighborhood of Venezuela has condemned the missile attack, it calls, that has taken place in Caracas, while more official updates are just coming in. Akshay, could you also fill us in with the kind of military build-up, the US military build-up that the region has experienced? The USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier played a key role in the US seizing the oil tanker off Venezuela coast a week ago. Then US has also deployed about 15,000 troops. There's a massive build-up in the region, in the port of Venezuela, in the Caribbean Sea, that Trump administration has undertaken. All these indicating a possible bigger military actions against Venezuela. We're not sure if that has happened in Caracas, but all information appears to be pointing in that direction.
Well, there have been these kind of fears that have been staked by some of the experts, but you have to look at the fact that Venezuela, it's quite difficult as far as the situation is concerned right now to comment on it, because if we look at the situation right now, then Venezuela has a leader that is quite anti-US. Either he will politically align himself to the US, or there will be a regime change if the military buildup that is going on is exerted inside Venezuela, because Venezuela is in no condition to militarily defend itself as far as the US might in that region is concerned. It is just in the backyard of the US that is still the world's largest navy. It has over 10 nuclear aircraft carriers that can surround the entire region. If you talk about the military buildup that is currently there, then obviously we have around 3 to 4 aircraft carriers that are active in the region. And if there is sort of a planning of having sort of ground offensive inside Venezuela, then US would have been all prepared. So expecting that China is going to come here or do any kind of take any kind of defensive action against the US strikes is just not a very practical thing that can be happening right now. So if there is a ground action, if there is a ground troops that go inside Venezuela, then we are most likely looking at a regime change. But as of now, people are looking at this as a pressure tactic. We have seen that Donald Trump has applied these kind of tactics on Iran, on other countries, and then backed out from a full-blown conflict. So let's hope for that, because it is going to be devastating for the world economy, as a whole.
Akshay, stay with us while we inform viewers who've just joined us as to what's going on. The visuals that we've been playing on our screens are those of, if you can have those visuals on the screen again, visuals of explosions going on in Venezuelan capital, Caracas, that took place early early Saturday morning. There have been various speculations that have been reported. Colombian president appears to point at the United States. Those are the visuals of explosions and loud noises heard in the Venezuelan capital, Caracas. The Venezuelan government has asked for mobilization of the population. Colombian president has condemned what it calls an American missile attack. No official confirmation from the United States has come in. There has been a significant military buildup in the region targeting Venezuela from the Trump administration in the United States. Hitherto, the target has been allegedly the boats carrying narcotics from Venezuela in the Caribbean Sea by the United States. There were threats of and speculations of a possible land operation by the United States. We do not know if that has taken place, but the updates that are coming in at the moment, those are the visuals of the explosions that rocked Venezuelan capital Caracas early today. Meanwhile, the latest that is coming in from the Venezuelan government, that it has asked for mobilization of the population. DD India correspondent Akshay Dongre continues to track the latest. Akshay, what does mobilization of the population imply as directed by the Venezuelan government led by Nicolas Maduro? If I refer to one of the previous statements in a press conference, he had spoken about if a US land operation comes, the population must stand up and defend their country. So in that context, the mobilization of the Venezuelan population, a significant order by the Venezuelan government.
But how likely would people be, willing to actually risk their lives as far as if the ground invasion is concerned? That is the worst case scenario. But let's just hope that this stops here. As far as the information is concerned, Shubhendu, the attacks took place at about 2:15 a.m. at night, according to local time in Venezuela. It was quite pitch dark, and it is going to take some time for people to actually get in sort of touch with reality that what is happening. There is an all-out chaos there. Power outages have been reported. If you look at the statement that is coming in from the Colombian president, then I'm sure there would be some substantial proof that he would have gotten from either Venezuela or from other regional sources that they are calling it a missile strike. So if this is a missile strike, then we can expect a similar kind of either a retaliation or a condemnation by Venezuelan side. But if this is indeed part of a ground attack, which is unlikely at this point in time, because we would have gotten to know had there been any kind of ground invasion. So as of now, let's just hope that this is just a limited military action and not a proper full-scale military action that the US is planning right now. There are certain international media outlets that are also present in the region. They're trying to go around and talk to people, but as of now, no clear sort of proofs have emerged that a ground invasion is in force right now, or is either being attempted, because that is going to be a major disturbance not only for the Latin American region but the global economy.
Okay, Akshay, thank you for joining us with those updates. The news that's coming in, loud explosions heard in Venezuelan capital Caracas. We're yet to ascertain the cause or who led the attack. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Yemen southern separatists call for paths to independence amid fighting over key region. Iran urges United Nations Security Council to condemn Trump's warning as charter violation. And military-backed party in Myanmar takes lead in the first phase of elections.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendra Ghosh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Grand International Exposition of Sacred Piprawa relics related to Lord Buddha, titled The Light and the Lotus, Relics of the Awakened One, at the Rai Pithora Cultural Complex in New Delhi on Saturday. The exposition brings together for the first time the Piprawa relics repatriated after more than a century, with authentic relics and archaeological materials from Piprawa that are preserved in the collections of the National Museum, New Delhi, and the Indian Museum, Kolkata. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister remarked that after 125 years of waiting, India's heritage has returned, India's legacy has come back home.
गुलामी सिर्फ राजनीतिक और आर्थिक नहीं होती। गुलामी हमारी विरासत को भी तबाह कर देती है। भगवान बुद्ध के पवित्र रेलिक्स के साथ भी यही हुआ। गुलामी के कालखंड में इन्हें भारत से छीना गया, लेकिन भारत के लिए तो ये पवित्र रेलिक्स हमारे आराध्य का ही एक अंश है, हमारी सभ्यता का अभिन्न अंग है।
Prime Minister Modi also visited the historic exhibition that reunites the sacred relic jewels of Lord Buddha taken away during the colonial era with the Piprawa relics and jewels preserved at the National Museum, New Delhi, and Indian Museum, Kolkata. The Piprawa relics discovered in 1898 are among the earliest and most historically significant relics, deposits directly connected to Lord Buddha. Archaeological evidence associates the Piprawa site with ancient Kapilavastu, widely identified as the place where Lord Buddha spent his early life prior to renunciation. And DD India correspondent Deepika joins us live from New Delhi. Deepika, tell us more about the legacy of these sacred Piprawa relics and what does this exposition mean for the followers?
Good afternoon, Shubhendu. Well, after 127 years, these relics were brought back to India, and that was not an easy move. That was really a task for the government of India, because in the year 2025, when the government of India noticed that Sotheby's said that they will be putting this on auction, and they enlisted these relics, these gems related to Lord Buddha, they immediately contacted the government and they also sent a legal notice to Sotheby's. After having a one-on-one conversation when the ministers visited the site, they came to this conclusion and they made all the efforts to bring back those relics back to India. So after those hard tasks, the government of India was successful in bringing back those sacred relics back to India. As you also told our viewers that these belong to the time when Gautam Buddha was possibly a child, and he used to wear all these gems and he used to adore all these gems. And when the announcement was made that these relics will be coming back to India. Before that, a world tour of it took place, and they went to different places, straight from Tibet to Vietnam to Thailand. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself said that when these relics were received by different countries, people not only came in large numbers and lakhs and crores to take a look, to take blessings from these relics, but they also, when they did not get the chance to reach out to the relics, they touched the Indian representatives because they were so delighted, they were so happy with the fact that all these Indian representatives made the effort to bring back those relics back to India. And when Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated this exposition today, this international exposition today, he also shared that how his karma bhumi, his workplace is Sarnath, which is Varanasi, his constituency, and how Gujarat's Vadnagar, the place where Prime Minister Narendra Modi was born, is also holding significant moments, significant teachings of Lord Buddha. So this has been his connection, his personal connection with the teachings of Lord Buddha. And when we talk about today, it's been a legacy, and he said that this is a moment of great pride for the entire country and of course the world also, because we had a word with the monks here also who've come to witness this exposition from all across the world, and they said that they are really happy, and they are thanking the government for taking this initiative and bringing back these relics after 127 years back to the country.
Also, Deepika, Prime Minister Modi in his address spoke about how India celebrates the rich Buddhist traditions but also helps protect and preserve these traditions all across the world.
Vikasvatpi and Viraspi, that has been the motto of and the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, taking the rich cultural heritage and the rich cultural legacy of India to the world and making it recognized in the entire world with the kind of respect that is revered here in India. That has been the motto of Prime Minister Narendra Modi when we talk about it. And especially we can understand the fact with all the efforts that the government of India took place when they came to witness the fact that Sotheby's is going to put in auction. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself said it during the speech also that for the rest of the world, and especially for Sotheby's, they may just be the gems which have been put in place for an auction, but for India it holds a spiritual value. For India it has a sacred value, and this is the rich cultural heritage of India when we talk about. And he said that this is not the only initiative that the government is taking. The Buddha circuit would also be created. That will be a networking area for all the Buddhism disciples. And not only this, all the places including the pagodas will be redeveloped like they have been redeveloped at the time of crisis, at the time of earthquakes, at the time of floods. Those affected areas where pagodas were there, with the help of the government, with the help of the respective state governments also, they've been redeveloped, and that will remain one of the key agendas of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well, taking the legacy and taking the rich cultural heritage to not only an A-level grade when we talk about its production, and when we talk about its restoration in the country, but also at the global level. And we saw that because Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the entire event did not only witness the participation of Buddha disciples, but several foreign dignitaries as well, that included the ambassadors of several countries as well. Shubhendu.
There, Deepika, thank you for joining us with those updates. Shifting focus now to some other international updates. Ukraine is hosting security advisors for a crunch talks on Saturday as Kyiv insists negotiations are zeroing in on a deal, while Russia claims a deadly New Year strike torpedoed the efforts. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said around 15 countries would attend the talks, along with representatives from European Union and NATO, with the US delegation joining via video link. The latest peace push comes after Zelensky announced in the New Year's Eve address that US brokered plan was 90% ready, but cautioned that important territorial issues remain. Meanwhile, Kyiv has repeatedly said Russia is not interested in peace and is deliberately trying to sabotage diplomatic efforts in order to seize more Ukrainian territory. Moscow has meanwhile accused Ukraine of carrying out a terrorist attack and deliberately torpedoing a peaceful resolution after a strike on a hotel in Kherson, killing 28 people celebrating New Year's. Meanwhile, Moscow has warned of consequences, but Ukraine said the attack targeted a military gathering that was close to civilians. In other news, Yemen UAE-backed separatists announced a 2-year transition to independence on Friday despite reporting 20 deaths in airstrikes from a Saudi-led coalition trying to roll back their weeks-long offensive across the country's south. A separatist military official and medical sources reported 20 fighters dead in air raids on 2 military bases as the coalition targeted an air base and other sites. The bombardment and surprise independence bid follows weeks of tensions between Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates over the separatist Southern Transitional Council or STC land grab. Yemen, which was divided into north and south from 1967 to 1990, could again be split in 2 parts if the STC's independence plans comes to fruition. It would call the new country South Arabia. STC president said the transitional phase would include dialogue with Yemen's north controlled by Iran-backed Houthi rebels and a referendum on the independence. But he warned the group could declare independence immediately if there was no dialogue or if southern Yemen was attacked again. In a letter to the United Nations Secretary General and President of the Security Council, Iran's UN ambassador Amir Saeed Eraveni called for Security Council to condemn Donald Trump's statements. Eraveni said that warning of the use of force by US President is a clear and serious violation of the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations, and Iran calls this council to condemn it firmly and unequivocally. The letter further reads, Iran will exercise its right decisively and proportionately. The United States of America bears full responsibility for any consequences arising from these unlawful warnings and any ensuing escalation. The Security Council on Friday welcomed 5 new non-permanent members for the 2026-27 period. The flags of the 5 newly elected members of United Nations Security Council, Latvia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, Bahrain and Colombia, were officially installed at the UN headquarters in New York. The ceremonial flag raising, introduced in 2018 at the initiative of Kazakhstan, marks the start of each country's 2-year term, while Bahrain, Colombia and DRC are among the first to serve in the African and Asia Pacific group. Latvia is making its debut on the council. The U.S. Justice Department said on Friday it thwarted an alleged plan by North Carolina man to carry out an ISIS-inspired attack using knives and hammers on New Year's Eve. An 18-year-old U.S. man with a history of mental health issues was arrested in this regard. He was charged with providing material supporting a terrorist organization after undercover FBI agents fooled him into believing that they were members of the Islamic State group. Sturdivant will remain in custody until further hearing on January 7th. Still to come on DD India News Hour. India's IT ministry issues notice to X over misuse of Grok AI for obscene content. In India's Kashmir, winter turns unusual without snow.
From monsoons to winters, seasons have now become unpredictable. So today let's meet people who, despite the challenges of change, are working towards a better future.
I started working in waste management and focused on reducing polythene use to protect the environment.
Within 6 months, all the other plants turned into manure, but this one plant was still blooming. So that was a big motivation for me to start Only Adenium.
If we can continue this initiative, we hope by 2050 to see a green belt along the entire coastline.
When you're surrounded by asphalt, concrete, glass, and these run-of-the-mill buildings that are becoming more and more alike, then of course people will want to create a more natural, more livable niche here and there.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Our top stories. Venezuela declares emergency after loud explosions rock capital Caracas. Explosions took place near a major military base on Saturday morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates international exposition of sacred Piprava relics related to Lord Buddha in Delhi, says Lord Buddha belongs to everyone and unites us all. Ukraine to host talks with security allies in Kyiv today. Around 15 countries along with representatives from EU, NATO and US delegation to join the talks. News coming in from Bangladesh. A Hindu businessman has died in Bangladesh after being attacked and set on fire in Shariatpur district. A 50-year-old Hindu businessman, Khokon Chandra Das, has died on Saturday while undergoing treatment in Dhaka for burn and stab injuries. Police said he was attacked on Wednesday night while returning home in an auto rickshaw. According to investigators, assailants stopped the vehicle, assaulted him with sharp weapons, robbed him of cash, poured flammable liquid on him and set him on fire. The victim jumped into a nearby pond to save himself and was rescued by local residents. He was first taken to a hospital and later shifted to Dhaka due to critical injuries. Doctors say around 30% of his body was burnt. Police said the victim identified two attackers before his death. A case has been registered and investigations are ongoing. The killing has renewed concerns over recent attacks on members of the minority community in the country. And DD India correspondent Naval Singh Parmar joins us live from Dhaka on phone line. Naval, another death, another killing of the minority community members in Bangladesh. What is the latest that you can share with us on the Khokon Das case?
Well, this is the third incident of killing a minority person in Bangladesh. The first one was in Mehman Singh, where Dipu Chandra Das was killed and then he burned him. This is the third incident, and the Khokon Chandra Das, a Hindu businessman who was returning his home after closing his shop, and he was attacked, robbed, and then set on blaze. So this is a horrific incident, and still the accused person are roaming freely. There is no arrest till now. Police trying to apprehend them. The situation, law and order situation in Bangladesh, Dhaka as well as other parts of the Bangladesh, it is very pathetic. People are feeling unsafe. Many prominent people in Bangladesh and various political parties also accuse Yunus administration of failure to provide safety and security to the people of Bangladesh. Many incidents of this kind occurred routinely. Yesterday, there was a lynching of an advocate in one of the post area of Bangladesh, Vasundhara residential area. So this kind of things are very common as the fundamentalists and the miscreants don't have any fear of police administration here in Bangladesh. So that is the case. This kind of things are surfacing very frequently in the country.
Right.
And as the election is approaching,
yes,
the election-related violence has also been increased. So that is also a case.
I'll come to the elections in just a bit, Naval. A little more on the prevailing law and order situation in Bangladesh. As you mentioned, a series of attacks targeting the members of the minority community, in particular in Bangladesh, continue. How is the Yunus administration dealing with the situation?
Well, preventive actions are not much visible on the ground. Or patrolling or police gust, and then the preventive measures taken by the law enforcement agency are very minimal, and that is the reason that the miscreants, the looters, muggers are very rampant, and fundamentalists are also having their own agenda, and they are also implementing their agenda without fear of law enforcement agencies. So that is the one thing lacking. Second thing, after some incident occur, police failed to arrest the accused person, and that is the accusation from the many people that policing and law and order is not up to the mark, and in fact it is a failure of the Yunus administration. Meanwhile, the army is also authorized with the magisterial power, and army is deployed in Bangladesh, but the action from army side is also not visible. Otherwise, if the army is deployed, previously there is a history in Bangladesh in 2007-8, the army was deployed. So many people says that at that time the law and order situation was one of the best time for law and order. But nowadays, somehow, I don't know reason why, but the army is deployed, army is having a magisterial power, and even though action is missing from army side.
Okay, and Nawal, finally, we learned that Bangladesh's BNP gets a new leadership, Tariq Rahman, after demise of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. Tell us about the new leadership and what are the political possibilities shaping up ahead of the February elections in Bangladesh?
Begum Khaleda Zia, after her death, Tariq Rahman de facto became the, as per the constitutional provision of BNP, acting chairman became the chairman, regular chairman, but the official announcement for that is yet to come, and there will be some formalities at party level. But Tariq Rahman, he is a son of Begum Khaleda Zia and former President Ziaur Rahman, and he is acting president since many years. Though he was in exile, but he was coordinating the party-related decisions and party-related things, policy from London. And at the same time, Begum Khaleda Zia was a cementing force in Bangladesh for the BNP party. Almost all senior leaders frequently visited London to meet Tariq Rahman and to take guidance and direction from the Tariq Rahman. So he was a controlling party.
From Dhaka. Moving on, Myanmar's military-backed Union Solidarity and Development Party has taken a strong lead in the first phase of the general elections. Partial results from Myanmar's first election since 2020, released by the Union Election Commission for 56 constituencies, show the junta-backed party winning by a wide margin. Despite low voter turnout, USDP won 14 of the 15 regional seats counted under the first past the post system, with the Akha National Development Party securing 1 seat. The military authorities claim voter turnout stood at 52%. Well below the nearly 70% recorded in the 2015 and 2020 elections. Meanwhile, no date has been announced for the final results. Election panel has not disclosed how many constituencies voted in the first phase. The polls have drawn criticism from international organizations as anti-junta parties are barred and public criticism of the election is illegal. Back home, in a big blow to left-wing extremism, security forces killed 14 Maoists, including wanted ultras Mangtu and Hunga Madkam, in separate encounters in Chhattisgarh, Sukma and Bijapur districts in Bastar region on Saturday. While 12 Maoists, including Mangtu, were neutralized by security forces during an exchange of fire in Sukma, the bodies of 2 Maoist cadre, including Hunga Madkam, were found in the forest of Gaganpalli village in Basagura, Bijapur. According to officials in Bijapur, the forces recovered 1 SLR rifle, 1 12-bore rifle, along with bodies of the 2 Naxalites. A senior police official said encounter broke out in the southern region of Sukma district when the team of security personnel was out on anti-Naxalite operation. Last year, 285 Maoists were gunned down in separate encounters with security forces in Chhattisgarh. India's Home Minister Amit Shah is on a 3-day visit to Andaman Nicobar Islands. The minister chaired a parliamentary consultative committee meeting of the Ministry of Home Affairs at Mandur on Saturday. During the visit, he is scheduled to inaugurate an exhibition of Naveen Nyay Sanhita, new criminal laws, at the ITF ground. Later, he will lay the foundation stones for several development projects at the Netaji Stadium. This marks his second visit to Sri Vijayapuram in less than a month. Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok is facing global backlash after allegations it generated sexualized images of women and minors. France has sought a legal probe, while India has issued notice and demanded answers from the platform. The issue surfaced after an image editing feature was launched in late December, allowing users to modify any image of children and women on X. Meanwhile, Grok and its parent company XAI have faced repeated criticism over controversial and unsafe AI-generated content. Elon Musk Grok said it is urgently fixing safety flaws after complaints of altered images of women and children stressing that child sexual abuse material is illegal. Meanwhile, India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has issued notice to social media platform X, directing it to remove obscene content generated through misuse of Grok AI. The ministry said platform is violating provisions of the IT Act 2000 and IT Rules 2021, stressing that the compliance is mandatory. It has sought an immediate action, taken report and warned that failure to comply could invite strict legal action. Cabinet Secretary and other departmental secretaries briefed the media in New Delhi on Friday for the outcomes of the Pragati mechanism, that's proactive governance and timely implementation, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Speaking about the objectives of Pragati, the Cabinet Secretary T.V. Somanathan highlighted the structured project and issued escalation mechanism under Pragati-led ecosystem, which enables systematic monitoring and resolution of issues across multiple levels and state governments.
The objective of Pragati is to improve center-center and center-state coordination in order to, firstly, fast-track critical infrastructure projects which face issues and bottlenecks. Secondly, improve the outcomes in flagship schemes which may be showing suboptimal performance or which might require structural reforms. And thirdly, assess and resolve important categories of citizen grievances across various sectors of the government.
The Cabinet Secretary also informed that Prime Minister chairs Pragati Review meeting directly with Chief Secretaries of States and Secretaries of Central Ministries. 50 such review meetings have been held so far.
At the apex of the Pragati system, the Prime Minister personally chairs Pragati Review meetings. In these meetings, he deals directly with Chief Secretaries of all the states and the Secretaries of all central departments and ministries who come together at these reviews to address issues in specific projects or schemes. 50 such review meetings have been held so far, and the 50th was held day before yesterday, which is why we are here to brief you today.
Moving on, Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan attended the 50th birthday celebrations of Shakti Amma, spiritual head of the Siripuram Golden Temple at near Vellore. Speaking at the event, Vice President said, spiritual power is eternal and unshakable. Recalling his 25-year association with Siripuram, he praised Shakti Amma's philosophy of devotion, righteousness and social work. As a mark of respect, a crystal sculpture of a cow and a calf was presented to him. Union Minister of State L. Murugan, New Justice Party leader A.C. Shanmugam and several dignitaries were present on the occasion. Some weather news now. Large parts of Kashmir continue to miss snowfall and rain as prolonged dry cold spell grips the valley. This has made this year's Chilai Kalan the harshest 40 days of winter unusually dry. Weather officials say no major change in the temperatures is expected in the coming days.
Snowfall or rains continue to elude large parts of Kashmir as the prolonged spell of dry, cold weather continues to grip the valley. This has made this year's Chilai Kalan, the 40-day period of harshest winter, quite unusual, with the typical weather missing. According to the local Met Office, due to the prevailing weather conditions, no significant change in the region's maximum or minimum temperature is forecast in the coming days.
खासकर अभी भी एक माइनर वेट स्पेल हुआ जो पहाड़ी इलाकों के अंदर ही देखा गया. बाकी प्लेन्स में जो है मौसम अमूमन ड्राई ही रहा, एक्सेप्ट कुछ एक जगहों पे या हल्की फुल्की बारिशें हुई ड्रिजल टाइप, लेकिन इन जनरल जो है ड्राई ही रहा. तो ओवरऑल जो है इसके कारण जो चिलाई कलान में ठंड जो है वो उतना ज़्यादा फिलहाल महसूस नहीं हो रहा. और कमिंग डेज में भी ऐसे कोई फोरकास्ट नहीं है बारिश या बर्फबारी के हवाले से. तो जो करंट ट्रेंड चल रहा है इसमें आधा 1 डिग्री 2 डिग्री नॉर्मल से ऊपर नीचे चल सकता है, लेकिन कोई मेजर शिफ्ट के चांसेस नहीं है.
Chilai Kalan, the coldest phase of Kashmir's winter, typically brings heavy snowfall and sub-zero night temperatures. This year, however, while higher reaches of the valley have received snow, the plains have largely remained snowless so far, marking an unusual departure from normal winter patterns.
Thousands of devotees gathered at the ghats of Ganga in Varanasi today. To mark the Paush Purnima from early morning, pilgrims took holy dips in the river, considering the day auspicious in the Hindu calendar.
Hara Hara Mahadev.
Thousands of devotees from across North India gathered at the ghats of the Ganga in Varanasi city of Uttar Pradesh on Saturday for Paush Purnima, the full moon day of the month of Paush according to the Hindu calendar. The day is considered auspicious in Hindu religion and is marked by devotees taking a dip in sacred rivers like the Ganga.
आज कह रहे हैं कि पौष मास के शुक्ल पक्ष की पूर्णिमा स्नान है और आज से माघ महीने का भी जो संगम का स्नान हो रहा है वो भी स्टार्ट हो गया। आज के दिन माता बहनें लोग दूर दूर से श्रद्धालु लोग आते हैं, गंगा स्नान करते हैं, पंडित जी को अन्नदान जलदान हो सके तो तिलदान भी पितरों के निवृत्ति दान करते हैं।
क्या महत्व होता है आज के दिन स्नान करने का?
इस समय का बहुत बड़ा महत्व है। ये महत्व ऐसा है कि गंगा स्नान करेगा जो जिसके भी कष्ट बाधा रोग व्याधि सब दूर करने के लिए और मोक्ष की प्राप्ति करने के लिए गंगा स्नान करते हैं।
Many devotees braved the severe cold conditions to offer prayers on the occasion early in the morning.
यहाँ आज माघ की पूर्णिमा है, आज गंगा स्नान करने से जो है हमारे वेद पुराणों में लिखा है कि इससे जो सारे पाप दूर हो जाते हैं। इसी वजह से हम सब लोग भी भाई स्नान करने आए हैं।
गंगा स्नान से हर चीज मिलता है, सब चीज गंगा माँ देने वाली है, सब पाप का नाश करने वाली है, मोक्ष देने वाली है।
The day also marks the commencement of Magh Mela at the Sangam in Prayagraj, the 44-day religious fair that will conclude on February 15th.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. Ticket sales for the Republic Day Parade 2026, the full dress rehearsal, the beating retreat and the beating retreat ceremony will commence from 5th January. These events are part of India's annual Republic Day celebrations, showcasing ceremonial traditions, military displays and cultural heritage in the national capital. Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan paid homage to the victims of 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami at the Tsunami Memorial in Andaman Nicobar Islands. The tribute marked the anniversary of the devastating disaster triggered by a massive undersea earthquake of magnitude 9.2 on 26 December 2004, which caused widespread destruction across the region and claimed thousands of lives. In India's eastern state of Bihar, Patna High Court marked a key milestone as Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant, laid the foundation stone of its new administrative block. CJI noted that institutions are not static monuments, but living organisms that grow and evolve with society. Tamil Nadu's first Jallikattu event of 2026 began in Pudukkottai district on Saturday. More than 800 bulls entered the arena as traditional sport got underway. Large crowds gathered under tight security arrangements to witness the event. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for all the action from the world of sports. Australia skipper Steve Smith said on Saturday he had no end date to call time on his career, while keeping England guessing on how his team will line up for the fifth and final Ashes test. With the retirement of Usman Khawaja after the Sydney test on Sunday and Nathan Lyon out injured, Smith will be the oldest player in the Australian lineup alongside Scott Boland. Asked if he would still be playing at the next Ashes in England in 2027, the 36-year-old was non-committal, said he was enjoying his cricket. In terms of Australia's team for Sydney, Smith said everything was on the table, with another look at the wicket required. Australia leads the 5-test series 3-1 after 8-wicket wins in Perth and Brisbane before an 82-run victory in Adelaide ensured it retained the famous urn. South Africa's National Cricket Board on Friday announced the 15-member T20 squad for the T20 World Cup 2026 in India and Sri Lanka. Aiden Marakram will be leading the 15-member South Africa squad in the Protea squad. Spearhead Kagiso Rabada has been cleared for a return to action. Rabada missed the recent white ball tour against India due to a rib injury, but his presence in the squad provides the necessary firepower and experience to lead the pace battery. Explosive top-order wicketkeeper batter Ryan Frickleton has been left out of the squad, while Jason Smith, who has played just 2 T20s, gets a call-up. Middle-order batter Tristan Stubbs also misses out, while injury-prone fast bowler Anrich Nortje was named in the squad. He has had a long battle with injuries, but returned to action when he played in 2 internationals against India last month. And foreign tourists got a taste of Tamil tradition as they celebrated Pongal in Thoothukudi during a unique auto rickshaw journey across South India. The group paused their self-driven expedition to immerse themselves in local culture, cuisine and rural life, turning their travel adventure into a festive cultural exchange.
29 foreign nationals from different countries embraced Tamil culture by celebrating Pongal in Thoothukudi district on Friday during their unique adventure across South India. The group, which is on a self-driven auto rickshaw expedition from Chennai to Thiruvananthapuram, made a stopover near Sayarpuram to experience the harvest festival.
நாங்கள் இங்கே 11 ஆட்டோவை அவங்களே ஓட்டிக்கிட்டு சுற்றுப்பயணம் ஏற்படுற மாதிரி ஏற்பாடு பண்ணியிருக்கோம். சென்னையில் ஆரம்பித்து ட்ரிவாண்ட்ரத்தில் முடிக்கிற மாதிரியான இந்த பயணம் இன்றைக்கி தூத்துக்குடியில் சாயர்புரத்தில் தோட்டத்தில் ஒரு பொங்கல் ஃபெஸ்டிவலாக நின்றுட்டுருக்கு. இன்னொரு 4 நாளில் நாங்கள் ட்ரிவாண்ட்ரத்தில் போய் முடிக்கிற மாதிரி ஏற்பாடு பண்ணியிருக்கோம். இதில் UK, ஆஸ்திரேலியா மற்றும் ஜப்பான் 3 நாட்டில் இருந்து 29 பேர் கலந்துருக்காங்க.
Dressed in traditional Tamil attire, the foreigners prepared local cuisine and described the experience as extraordinary.
It's been a really good experience. We've had a great day today. We've had a chance to taste lots of fruits, see lots of animals and flowers, and make some pongu ourselves, which is fabulous. The tuk-tuk rides have been fun. It's been a real experience on the Indian roads, that it has been one where it has been really enjoyable. And it's really nice going with a crowd of people as well, so we all get to experience the same things. And the people have been very welcoming.
This auto rickshaw challenge.
Sorry?
Auto rickshaw challenge.
It's a challenge. It's really nice to have the opportunity ourselves to do it.
Visiting India to drive our tuk-tuks across from Chennai to Trivandrum, and today we stopped at a beautiful farm and we're learning to cook some of the local produce for the Indian Harvest Festival that we're lucky enough to be here for.
It's been wonderful to come here and do some cooking and have a look around the farm, just where Arvo grew up, and we've been having a great time in India driving the auto rickshaw down from Chennai.
The celebration offered the foreign tourists a memorable glimpse into Tamil Nadu's rich traditions, blending local culture, cuisine and rural life with their adventurous journey across South India.
Say happy Pongal! Happy Pongal!
And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on your screen and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.